Welcome to this intense course on media literacy for students. This is a course that has been designed and has been mooted by two institutions together. That is Adamas University, Kolkata and Delhi Metropolitan Education, Noida. And this is perhaps for the first time in the country that two educational institutions have joined in to launch this kind of program. And particularly, if I can tell you something about this program, we decided to launch this kind of program as part of our CSR activity, because as educational institutions, we owe to the society, and it is our responsibility to spread all that information and knowledge in the society, which is necessary to set the things right if there are certain such issues which need to be addressed. And so this whole course on media literacy is in fact the requirement of the hour, for the reason that since the time this social media has increased, and the people have increased their usage of the Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, then obviously there is a whole flood of a spread of the misinformation and the disinformation, leading to the dissemination of fake news, and people get involved in these kind of activities in many cases without even knowing that in what they are involved and what kind of damage they are doing to the society. So we need to spread that information, awareness, and knowledge among the people. And we decided to start this whole exercise with the young minds. So though, I mean, both these institutions, Adamas and Delhi Metropolitan Education, they are in higher education, but we decided to address the school students in this whole endeavor, so that once these young minds are made aware as to what kind of content should be spread, should not be spread, and they understand the pros and cons of the spread of simply the forwarded messages and the wrong information that is being spread by them unknowingly, they need to be told. So that is how this is called media literacy, wherein they need to be literate in all such aspects of media, which are normally not known. I mean, when we say media, then anybody will understand the face of that media, which is coming to them from the mainstream media. But what is happening behind, and what kind of stuff? Because in today's time, in the digital age, we are in the process of creating content and disseminating content. So we all have to be alert what kind of content we are creating and what kind of content we are spreading. So that understanding has to be there. So this whole course we have designed in 12 lectures, and this is spread in a span of almost 17, 18 days. So 12 sessions, each session of 90 minutes. So that is how this is a course of 18 hours. And it all happened that we organize this international media conference, ICANN3, in June in Delhi Metropolitan Education. And that was the first world's digital live conference. And my friend, Professor Ujjwal Chaudhary, who is the Pro Vice Chancellor in Adamas University, he came out with an idea during deliberation. So let us do something in the field of media literacy. And that is how we took this forward. And the teachers of both the institution sat together, deliberated and decided and designed this kind of program. So I thank you, Professor Ujjwal Chaudhary, for becoming instrumental in launching this program. And with me, my colleagues, I must name them, Dr. Asha Singh, who is Associate Professor in the School of Media, Communication and Fashion in Adamas University, and Ms. Yashasrika Yadav, who is Assistant Professor in DME Media School, Delhi Metropolitan Education. They have been coordinating this whole course, And in my team, I must also make a mention of Professor Susmita Bala, who is head of DME Media School. She has also been a great inspiration, great source to make sure that all this happens. And today is the second day. First day, Dr. Asha Singh made the beginning of this course. And today again on the second day, we have another resource person, Ms. Swati Chandak, who is also in the department, assistant professor in the department of, in the School of Media Communication and Fashion in Adamas University. So she is taking today's session. So this is all the introductory thing that I could communicate to all. And the students from different schools have joined in this session, but particularly I must make a mention of two schools, that is Mayur School, Noida, and Delhi World Public School, Noida Extension. Their students have joined this course in large numbers. So I'm thankful to these two institutions and their principals for extending all kind of cooperation to us. So now I hand it over to Swati.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Amrish, sir. And I would really like to thank Amrish, sir, and UKC, sir, for giving me this opportunity. Also, thank you to all the esteemed professors of DME and Adamas University for encouraging me. Thank you so much. And just a moment, sir. I'll start with my presentation. Yeah. Is the presentation visible?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, good evening all my dear students who all have participated in this session. I will be talking about the different types of media and the challenges which lie in. I'll be talking about traditional media, conventional media, new media, and social media. I'm Ms. Swati Chandal. I'm assistant professor in the Department of Journalism in the School of Media, Communication and Fashion at Adamas University, Kolkata. Okay, so first of all, I would like to give my dear students a brief history of how communication developed over time. Like you already must be familiar with these cave paintings. You must have heard how primitive man used to communicate. So when he was not civilized, he used to communicate with the help of hand movements, his facial expressions, signs and symbols and drawings which he used to make. So one such old example of these drawings which he created in order to communicate with each other, in order to communicate with his fellows, is these cave paintings. These cave paintings which we found is an example of the early days when communication started. So slowly, man started being civilized. At first he used to just interact with his body language and some sound which used to make out. And after that, he developed the language. He learned how to pronounce words. He developed skills of speaking. So formally, he developed a language, and slowly he started writing down that language. He started to keep written records of that particular language. So this is how language was born. The scripts which we all have, like Hindi is written in Devanagari script, and we have different scripts. So all these scripts are, again, all the languages are an example of a form of communication. This is how we communicate with each other. Okay, so just a minute. Just a moment. Okay, so some other forms of mass communication which we have are so just a moment. I think I'm facing some technical glitches. Just a moment. Okay, so some of the other forms of communication which we have are, earlier the people, they used to communicate with the help of stone tablets, or they used animal skins to write on, or they used certain materials of cotton or other rags or tree barks. All these things they used to communicate. They used to communicate with the help of smoke signals. And sometimes when they wanted to, when the kings, they wanted to spread certain message to their people in the land, they used to appoint drummers who used to carry the messages across the town. They used to go on announcing the messages across the town. This is how the news or the communication or the message which the kings or other rulers had to communicate to the people, the messages used to be circulated like this. So these are some of the primitive, or these are some of the very old methods in which people communicated at that time. Okay, now this on your screen, which you can see, is actually a tablet, a stone tablet. These were known as acta diurna. These were used in the Roman times, on which the messages were inscribed. The carvings were done on stone or metal, and this entire block used to be placed in a place where a lot of people will get collected. A lot of people will be present, and they will be able to read these messages on the stone tablets. And from there, they would be getting the message which the ruler wants to give them. So these are some of the first forms of mass communication which existed in the world. Okay, as you can see in the picture, well, these are some ancient and primitive forms of communication. Like you can see in the first picture, it's about a cave painting. Then the second one is a smoke signal. Then we have a clay tablet. Then we used to have runners. Like there were people who used to just carry the messages, and they used to go about the entire town announcing the messages, or maybe they used to travel from one place to the one place to another. So they used to run and carry the messages in order to reach quickly over there so that they could pass on the message. Then slowly printing came. People learned the art of printing. Well, the first example of printing can be found in China. So this is how printing was done earlier, much earlier than today. These were blocks, wooden blocks, on which the letters or whatever message you have to give out to the people, these were inscribed on these wooden blocks, and they used to print it on some material like paper, cloth, or whichever material they used at that time. So it was basically printing blocks which they used for publishing information, not in the form which we have today, like newspapers and everything. So Gutenberg is the man who actually made a very important invention in the printing press. He invented the use of movable printing blocks, which made printing much more faster, which resulted in the mass production of books and other published material. Now, Gutenberg's press or Gutenberg's printing press is considered very important in the history of mass communication, because it made possible mass production of books. It took a lot of time before, when people used to write down books with their hands, or maybe they used those wooden blocks for printing. It used to consume a lot of time. But with this invention which Gutenberg made, the process of printing was much more faster than before. It became much more faster. Now, much more published material, many more books could be printed in less time. So that was nothing less than a revolution. Okay, so what happened was that since mass production of books became possible, in some time, more amount of published material could be created. That is why we could reach more number of people with these printed information. And since more number of people could be reached with this information, it had a direct increase on the literacy level of that time in the society. So now, since more and more books were available in the market, earlier when this handwritten books were there, how many books will you write in a time? You need such a lot of a time to write one book, and ultimately, how many people would be able to read it? So that is why after the mass production of books became possible, industrialization also came, and after that, many more people were able to read these books, and the literacy increased. Since you have access to the books, you want to read them, and for reading them, you definitely need to learn the language in which they have been written. So your literacy, the literacy of the society, the literacy level of the society is increasing. So well, I mean, I don't know whether I'll be able to, like, can you ask questions? If you want, you can ask questions in the chat box. But I mean, I assume most of you are students of 11 and 12, and you must be on, like, really liking reading books. You must be having the hobby of reading books. So books are one of the most important mediums of mass communication. There's a famous quote with Jhumpa Lahiri, a very famous author. She said that that's the thing about books. They let you travel without actually traveling the world. You don't have to move on your feet. You can sit at the luxury of your homes. You can be very comfortable in your home, and you can travel anywhere you want. You can read about anything you want. You can actually visit those places which you have read in your books, and you can actually experience those things which you have read about in your books. So that is the importance of books in our lives. Now, books were a big revolution at that time. Whenever a new medium of communication comes in, that media at that time is new for the people. So when books came up for the first time, for example, now we are having internet. Internet is the newest medium which we have. So at that particular time, when the books came out, they were the new media for people, because people did not know about it before that. They were first time experiencing the power of books. Books have a lot of power. They give a lot of power to you. So they make you independent. They create awareness. They let you travel the world without actually moving around. So that is the power of books. So printing at that time, the invention of printing was nothing less than a revolution. Okay, so printing, when it came, I mean, before printing came, people actually used to listen to others. They did not have the power to read and find out what is written on their own. They used to hear from others what has been written in the book, and they used to get those messages from the other people. So they were dependent actually on others for getting the knowledge. They themselves did not have the capability to get the knowledge from the books. But after printing, you can directly read a book. You can directly get the information from the book. Okay, you are not dependent on anyone else's interpretation. So that is the power of books, and that is how it transformed the lives of the people. Okay, so I would like to first explain you a bit more about media. Since you have now understood about printing revolution, now let me first briefly explain the meaning of media to you. Well, what is media? Like from the moment you get up in the morning until the point you sleep, you are exposed to a lot of mediums of communication. Okay, if you are talking on the phone with your parents or your friends, that is a medium. If you are using Facebook, that is again a medium. If you are watching the television, that is again a medium. Newspapers, they are a medium. So all these together, any such channel or medium which connects you to the society or which enables you to connect with other people, that is medium. Okay, that is a channel. So the message which is sent with the help of these channels to you forms a very important part of the mass communication process. What is the purpose of communicating with others? To get our message across to the people. Okay, like for example, now I'm talking to you. Okay, I am using this medium. We all are connected on Zoom. So that is a medium, we can say. And why I am connecting to you? For explaining you or discussing with you all these topics. So that is my purpose, and that is my message which I want to deliver to you. So I need a channel to get my message delivered to you. Otherwise, it is not possible. So whatever I am sharing with you, whatever ideas, opinions I'm sharing with you, that is a message. And through which I am sharing this message to you. That is a channel or a medium. So that simple it is. You know, whenever we need to communicate, we need a channel for communicating with each other, right? So that is a medium. So now what is a mass media? Again, mass media is that medium or channel which lets me connect with a large number of audience or with the masses. Okay, whenever I am communicating with a huge number of people, then that is called, I mean that the huge number of people is actually the mass, and the media which I'm using to connect with this huge audience is called mass media or mass media. As it is written on the presentation, the media which we use to transfer messages to the masses is called mass media, or in simple words, the medium of mass communication. Okay, so whenever we intend to do mass communication, we need to select certain channels which will make our message reach across to the people. For example, if you talk to your parents on the phone or you talk to your mother on the phone, that is a medium of communication. But the moment you are using your phone to connect to the Zoom and for talking to around a larger audience, a larger audience, a very large audience, that is mass communication. So when you are using television or you're using radio to get your message across to the audiences or the crowd, that is known as a medium of mass communication. So now there are different types of media. There are different types of media. So let us start with traditional media. Okay, our motive today, our main concern is to know more about the social media and the digital media. But let me first give you a brief explanation of what traditional media is. Well, when this radio, television, everything, these were not there. So people still used to communicate with the audiences, right? So for example, this dance forms which are there, or certain songs which are there, the folk songs and the folk dances, all these are the traditional media, the folk mediums of communication. When this electronic mediums were not there, still we used to pass down our culture to the next generation, okay? To the next generation of a family or of the society. So those mediums through which we used to express ourselves, those were called the traditional media, by which we used to express our beliefs, our opinions to others. So that is the traditional media, the folk media basically. Now the conventional media is all the media which we had before the arrival of the internet. You know, you can take the arrival of the internet as a point from where the new media started. Like all these mediums were at a point of time new media in themselves, like when they were new. But for today, in today's world, we would say that internet is the new media. Okay, so first, let's discuss about the different other mediums which are there apart from the internet. Okay, so as you can see a picture of newspapers on your screen. So who doesn't know about newspapers? We all are very familiar with newspapers. I mean, every morning you used to, I mean, you must be reading newspapers. That must be how you start your form of a printed material is print media. Now, we have the radio. Okay, radio is again a very popular means of communication after newspapers. Like after newspapers, we have television, we have radio. All these are the most popular types of mass communication which we have. Now, what is radio? Radio is an audio medium. Okay, in comparison to the other mediums which we have, a radio is much more handy, it is portable, it is easily accessible, and it is cheap. So you all must be knowing about can I take in questions from the audience?
I believe that questions, I mean, till now, no question has been asked. Questions will be in the chat box only.
Okay. Like,
So,
can I not interact with
yeah,
them?
just once Jan has raised the hand. Can you access the chat box, Saudi?
Just a moment, so I'll check.
Okay.
Oh, yes, sir, I can access.
So do you find, I mean, this
Yeah,
student has raised.
So the chat box I can access, but I cannot see any messages.
questions.
Ritik, this one student raised hand. Can you?
Yeah, please put your question in the chat box.
Okay, so by the time this student asks the question, you can continue, and then whenever the question is coming, you can take it up.
All right, sir. Okay.
All the students are requested to please put their questions in the chat box. It will come directly to us.
Yeah, or I mean, as Ritik said, that students who are attending this session, if they have any questions to ask, please put your questions along with your name in the chat box. Right? Yeah, Saudi, please continue.
Thank you, sir. Well, radio, as we all know, radio is an audio medium. Okay, so what are the advantages which we have in radio with over other mediums? What are the advantages which radio offers to us, which other mediums do not have? See, the radio is a very handy medium. It is very portable. You can carry it anywhere. That is one of the most important characteristics of radio. I'm sure you all must have. You all must be familiar to radio as a medium. You must have heard radio at some point of time. So now radio is also very easily accessible and it's a very cheap medium. Now radio also plays a very important part. It also is a very important medium for bringing about development in a country, especially the underdeveloped nations or the developing nations where people, where the most of the people who are living in the society are economically a little backward. Their radio helps a lot. Also, radio has no literacy barrier. Okay, you can listen to the radio and you can understand the message which you're getting from the speaker. You don't have to be literate. You don't need to know how to read and write in the particular language. You just need to know, I mean, you need to understand the language, and just by hearing the message on the radio, you can get the message. You can make your people, you can make your audiences understand what you want to tell them. Okay, so in countries where people are very economically backward, they do not have much literacy, radio can act as a great medium of communication. It can really help in bringing around development in the country, where mainly the occupation of people is farming. There, radio has really proved its role. You can inform the farmers, you can inform the people who are practicing agriculture about the new agricultural practices, about any new information, about any new innovation which you want, any innovation which you want to tell them about, which helps them to increase, I mean, which helps them to better their lives in any way. So that is how radio can act as a very powerful medium in certain cases. But also in India, the growth of radio is like phenomenal. It is radio has really grown over the years since it first came to India, and today we can say that it covers almost 97% of our population. So if you are giving a message on the radio and you want to put it across to the audiences, or you want to inform the society about something, so you can hope to reach around 97% of the population. That is nearly the entire population. Okay, so radio has that amount of coverage in our nation. Okay, now another very popular medium of mass communication, which I would like to first talk about, is the cinema. Now you all must be very familiar with movies, films. I mean, nowadays theaters are closed and you're not being able to go to the cinema hall, and you're not being able to watch movies, and you're not being able to meet your friends. That must be having, I mean, you all must not be very happy with it, but still you all are watching movies on the internet. You have access to the internet and you can watch movies there. You know, the old movies, even new movies are getting released now uh, on internet. You know, the screening of new movies are also being released there. Also, you can watch web series on certain internet platforms. There are many online web streaming platforms which are there, many web series which are there, which you all must be watching for entertainment. Now, what is the characteristics of cinema? What is the difference between cinema and other mediums of mass communication? When cinema is an audiovisual medium of mass communication and it has a lot of impact on the society. Cinema is a very powerful medium. You know, if you want to get a message across to the audiences, to the public, and you are using entertainment to let them know about something, then it would be much more effective if you are just simply giving out the information to them. You know, cinema, information amalgamated with entertainment can have a huge impact on a person. If you're providing that information to them in the form of entertainment, then that will be very much powerful than the other mediums of mass communication. That is the power of cinema in its simplicity. You know, it offers you some sort of relaxation. It offers you diversion from the daily mundane routine which you're following. So it takes you to another world. It just transports you to another place, and you forget about your worries, you forget about your daily life. And then at that moment of time, if you're provided with the information, if an information is given to you, you are much more receptive to it. You can digest it much more easily. Right? So cinema, that is the power of cinema. So that is how cinema movies can be much more educative. It can actually cause mobilization in the society. You know, we have many different movies which have actually brought out a change in society. So movies, with the help of entertainment and information together, they can educate and they can mobilize the audiences. Not only entertainment is their role, but they can also educate and mobilize the society. So this is a collage of different movies which we had, which we got to see last year. Okay, now television. Television is yet another medium of mass communication, and I mean, you all are really very familiar with it. Every day, I'm sure you must be watching something or the other on the television, maybe any television show or television news or anything. So again, television also has a huge impact on the mind of our audience because it is also an audiovisual medium. Then television is a very significant medium of communication because it impacts the eyes and the ears both, and you can have the luxury of watching it at the comfort of your home. You can sit and watch the information which whatever has been presented in the television. So that is why television is having such a lot of impact on the society. Though nowadays television is on the decline because of certain reasons, like there's the poor quality of content which they have on television. I'm not saying that all the content is bad, but there are like not a lot of experiments have been carried out regarding the content of television. So it needs a revamp. People are slowly moving away to online video streaming platforms. Okay, so the audience which earlier was crazy about television is now shifting to the online web series. So they are slowly shifting towards the online videos which are being streaming on the different platforms, online platforms, different digital platforms. So the arrival of the internet actually has caused a shift of audiences from these conventional platforms to the digital platforms. Okay. So there was one report published by the FICCI, then in 2020, it says that television and print, though they are the most important aspects, or they're the most important segments of the media industry, to the digital is actually the third largest segment, which is which is actually taking 31% of the total media and entertainment sector. So we can hope, I mean, we are seeing that in the coming years, digital will be rising much more. So all these mediums of mass communication, which we're talking about now, the conventional mediums, they would together move on to the digital. Like in digital medium, what you will have is the amalgamation of the different mediums which exist. Okay, now let me introduce like all these mediums of communication which we discussed till now are called the old medium. Today, we have seen the arrival of the internet, the arrival of the World Wide Web, the arrival of the computers. After this, we have seen a whole new world which is coming up. Before this internet, whatever mediums were there, they are known as the old media. But after the arrival of the internet, whatever mediums are there now, that is the new media. For example, whichever medium you were using that requires digital access or internet connection, that is called the new media. Like when you access the television, when you access the radio, when you access the newspapers or the cinema, when you go to a movie theater to watch the cinema, you do not need internet access. But for any kind of content which you deliver to the masses, to the audiences, which requires the help of internet, that is called new media. So as on your screens, you can see a picture which, I mean, there's actually a distinction between the old media and the new media. The first picture in red is the old media, which existed before the arrival of the internet, or which doesn't require a online connection or network, internet connection. And the second picture on the green, on the right hand side, the picture in green, that shows you the new media. Okay, the mediums which require internet. Okay, so what is the new media? We can say that the new media is any media, as I said before also, is any content which you distribute to your audiences with the help of the internet. Okay, any medium where you need internet to share your content with the audiences, or to, share the content which you have created, that is called new media. Now, for when you are sending an email, when you're writing an email to your friend or anyone, you require internet access. So like when you're writing a letter, that is also medium to communicate with other people. So that is old media. There we do not require internet connection. But when we are typing in an email and sending it to your friend, then that is a new media. When, for example, when we are listening to the radio channel or the FM channel, like you must be listening to Red FM, Meg FM, all these channels. So those are new media on your mobile, on your sets when you listen to the radio. Now, when you are listening to the radio or a voice message or a podcast, okay, which is popularly known as podcast today, then we require internet access. And I expect that most of you go on the internet and you listen to such podcasts which are streamed online on the web. So it is similar to a radio broadcast, but it is done on the internet, on the World Wide Web. Okay, so that is known as a podcast, which is very popular these days, which we can say is the future of radio. I'll be discussing about it in the later slides. Then you have these smartphone applications. Each and every one of you have these smartphones, which you keep on using the entire day. So the applications, the different apps which you access on your mobiles, maybe LinkedIn or maybe Twitter, Facebook, or any other application which you're using on your phones, that is an example of new media. Or the web series which you watch, Hotstar. So all these web series are streaming video content. So that is again part of the new media because you need internet access to watch them. Without internet, you cannot watch them. Okay, they are available on the internet. So anything, like when you are watching a movie, when you're listening to the radio, or when you're reading a newspaper, it is actually a message which you're getting from the creator. Like whoever is writing in the newspaper, whoever is speaking on the radio, or whoever is, whatever story you're seeing in the films, all those are actually messages which someone wants to communicate to you. So every media is actually carrying a message for you. Whenever you are accessing a media, you are accessing a message. You're getting a message. A message is getting delivered to you. So now, when you are using the internet to get a message or any content that is with the help of, with the internet, then that is called new media. So new media can, like, if you're accessing the new media, what different kinds of content you can get. You can, like, it must be clear to you. You can read over there. You can get text. You can get photographs. You can get sound, broadcasts, which are in case of a podcast. Then any graphic image or videos, anything. All these are a part of the content of the new media. And what is the speciality of this new media? What differentiates a new media and an old media? Well, some of the characteristics of new media is that it is one very important characteristic is that it is digital. Okay, it is delivered to us with the help of internet. Then it is interactive. Now, by interactive, I mean that suppose you're reading the newspaper and you've read a report which got published in the newspaper. Now, can you talk to the reporter or the journalist who wrote this reporter? No. It might be the case that you have written a letter to the editor, and then the editor received that letter and he got to know about your feedback, about what you want to say. But you cannot directly communicate with him. But that is not in the case of new media. In new media, whenever you're reading a news story, there's an option of posting a comment in there. So the moment you're reading a story in there, or a report in there, or you're getting a news from the internet, you can actually post your comment over there, and the person who has written the report or who has written the news, they can communicate to you. They can read your post. They can also answer back to you. If you have asked a question, they can reply to you. So that is why it is interactive. It works both ways. You can also talk to them. They can also talk to you. It's not one-way communication. Okay, now it is convergent. What does convergence mean? Well, new media, I can say that new media is convergent because when you are accessing the new media, you can access all different forms of content. Like you can read the text, you can see the video, you can see the photograph, you can see the audio also. You can hear the audio also. So that is how we have converged all the different forms of expression in the new media. For example, when you are listening to the radio, a radio device, you can only hear what they are saying, what they are broadcasting, or you are reading a newspaper. So at the most, you can just read the text and see a photograph. You cannot get videos in there. But on internet, you can get everything. Every possible way of communicating, or every different way of expressing yourself is available there. You can read also, you can see a photograph also, you can see a video also. So that is the power of the internet. That is the power of the digital media or the new media. So it's a convergent media. Okay. So as you can see on your screen, I would like to share some figures with you, like how this digital, is really digital media getting so famous that it can give competition to the older media. Is like the older media are losing and the new media is winning. So like according to a very popular report of Digital India, which was brought out by McKinsey Global Institute in 2019. This report said that the internet users in India have almost increased by 40%. So in a year, the number of people who are using the internet, they have gone up by 40%. Okay, and the number of smartphone users will be doubling. It will be twice the number which it is now by 23. In the coming 2-3 years, the number of people who are using smartphones will actually double. So you imagine the phenomenal rise in the use of mobile phones and the internet. So that is how powerful it is becoming. Again, I would like to share another statistics with you. According to the FICCI report, the Indian media industry, it increased by 9%. It experienced a growth of 9% in the previous year, in 2019. The report came this year. So it basically analyzed how much growth the media industry had in the last year. So it says that the media industry grew about 9%. 9% increase, just imagine. And also the report says that the media industry would be crossing 2.4 trillion by the year 22. So in the coming 2 years, you can expect the media industry to go beyond 2.4 trillion rupees. Also, the report says that the digital media, all the medias have a share in the entertainment industry because all of them are functioning. All of them have their own audiences. So now this report says that in 2019, the digital media accounted for the third largest segment. The digital medium was the third largest media segment to be there in the media industry. It has, print is there, television is there, films are there. But imagine the digital medium has already taken a chunk of this entire industry, and it is now actually the third largest one. So that is why we can expect that in future, we discussed about radio and we discussed about television, and by now I think you must be having a brief idea about what new media is. So you can expect that the future of the conventional mediums after the coming of the internet will be changed by the digital medium. The radio will give way to the internet radio. So this slide shows you the future of radio. So the future of radio is the radio streaming apps plus online listening platforms. Okay, actually the audiences of the radio, they would migrate. They have already started migrating. So radio would give way to internet radio, which will be streamed on the internet. And what are the advantages of this internet radio? It gives you access to a larger audience. You're not limited by the people or by the geographical limit of your area. So you can actually have audiences all over the world. So imagine whatever you want to say, whatever podcast you are making and you are sharing on your online platform, that is reaching the entire world. Not that it is reaching the people of Kolkata, it is not reaching the people living in India, but it is actually reaching the entire world. Okay, so the online platforms will make all these mediums much more global. Okay, so that is one most important advantage which you will have in the coming future in case of internet radio. Okay, now you have these future video streaming online platforms. The future of the television or the cinema are the other video streaming online platforms. The web series. And today, because of this COVID-19, the theaters are closed, and we are now seeing premieres of the movies digitally. There are a few movies which you all know which released online, like this Dil Bechara and Shakuntala Devi. They all released online. We did not go to the movie hall to see it. So after the COVID-19 factor, before also we were witnessing a change. The web series were getting more and more popular because of their new content. the content which is carried by these web series, they appeal to the younger audiences uh, more than the cinema, which I mean more than the offline cinema, the cinema which you go and see in the theaters. So these web series have content which are much more relatable and much more acceptable by the society, by the young audiences especially. And we have platforms like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hotstar, Hoichoi. There are many others are there, and they're really growing at a very fast rate, after the advent of the technology. So all this has happened because of the easy availability of the internet and people having more and more access to the smartphones. So the Indian television and cinema is the audiences of the Indian cinema and television, they are slowly moving towards these online platforms. And especially because of this COVID-19, it has only increased the rate of the development. More and more movies are being premiered online now. They're expected to release online in the coming times. Okay, so these are some of the characteristics of new media. Some I already discussed with you in the previous slide. Now, also, there are certain other characteristics as well. One is the one I have already discussed, the interactivity thing, which I have discussed with you before also. Now, this new media is hypertextual. Like you can actually create hyperlinks in the when you're interacting or when you're sharing your content in by the help of the new media. Okay, so you can actually, when you are reading a blog, it might happen that you have seen in that blog only, you have seen a link to some other website. And from this particular article which you were reading, you clicked on the link and you went to the other article or the other website which it was suggesting you. So you can migrate from one article to another. So that is that. I mean, it is creating a link between the different websites and platforms. So that is hypertextuality. That is one of the most important characteristics of the new media. Okay, that is not possible with the old media. I mean, in case of old media, you cannot migrate from one place to another. But in new media, you can do that. Okay. Now it is interactive, as you all know. We can interact with the content creators. That is another characteristics of the new media, which differentiates it from the old media. Okay, now we have the factor of multimedia, which is another characteristics of new media. Now, multimedia. By multimedia, if you break the word, what do we mean? Multi and media. So in new media, when you're reading the content, I mean, when you are getting the content, you can, or you're sharing the content, you can do that with the help of any, I mean, you can post any kind of content over there, different mediums you can post over there. You can post text, you can use videos, you can use photographs, everything. So this is basically the factor of multimedia which separates
Dr. Swati, I think some connection problem at your end.
Ritik, there's a connectivity issue on the part of the Saudi.
Sir, you are perfectly fine. So I think it is some connectivity issue from
Saudi is not audible.
yes, I image is frozen. And I think she is not.
I think there's some problem at the end of Swati Chandra. So by the time she resumes and this connectivity issue is resolved. Yeah. So anybody, I'm addressing the audience. If anybody has any question, then please ask. By the time she comes back.
She's back, I guess.
She's joined,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah.
She has joined.
Yeah.
Dr. Swati, You are the host.
Yeah, Swati, unmute yourself. Swati.
Sorry, sir, the connection on my laptop broke. So
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Yeah.
are you being able to see the presentation?
Would you want
Is the
to?
presentation visible?
No, it's not visible.
No, it's not visible, Swati. It's not visible.
Yeah, I think it has stopped. Can you please share the presentation
Yeah,
which I gave
I
you?
will. Give me a moment. I'll do that.
I think the questions are not coming. Students, if you're in the session, why don't you ask the questions? Simply listening will not do. I mean, nowadays the whole communication has changed, wherein it has to be an interactivity thing.
Swati, can you
Yeah,
see my
Swati.
screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we all can see this.
Just a moment.
Yeah. Which slide should I go to?
I think she was on 37 or something, 36, 37.
Yeah, the one before.
Yeah, this one. Okay. Swati, can you see my screen?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah.
Full screen the presentation.
Yeah, I've done that. Can you see it? Yeah.
This, I can see the slide after this. Please go to the slide
Yeah.
after this.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Swati?
So, clickbait is something.
Yeah.
You can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, clickbait means that when we are posting content in order to just attract clicks. Now, the problem with digital media, I mean, I think you all should be knowing about it. This is a very popular phenomenon which these digital content creators, which they follow. Like when you are posting content on the digital medium, what happens is that your sole purpose of posting the content is to get as many clicks as possible. Okay, why do we make content? We post content, we spread it to the people in order to get likes or in order to get noticed by them. In order to get noticed by them. So, like when we are on television, when we watch programs on television, the people who have created those programs, their sole purpose is to get the TRPs. They want to make their show very popular so that more people are watching it. So this is done in order to get revenue. People who are posting content on different platforms, different media platforms, actually their aim is to get some sort of revenue, to earn profits also. They would also want to earn profits. Not only their aim is to uh, not only their aim is to show the content to you, to send you the content. The aim is also to get some sort of revenue from the content they have created. Now, the same case is with the digital medium also. Whenever you visit a website, you like a website or you view a website, they collect these views. Okay, the more the views they are getting, the more famous they are, and the more the revenue they will get. So the more the popular their platform is, the more advertisers will come to them. The more advertisements they will get, and hence they would be getting more profits. Also, since the digital channels have been monetized, I mean, by monetization, I mean, whenever I post a content, I get money for it.
okay, if such a number of, a limited number of people watch my video, then I would be getting such and such money. So that is one aim of posting content. Now, clickbait, the phenomenon clickbait is all about attracting clicks. The more the people visit you, the more money you earn. So that is what we mean by clickbait. Ma'am, could you please go to the next slide?
Yes.
Okay, so now another phenomenon which I think you must be familiar with, that is digital deception. At some point, like you all must be exposed to social media and the new media a lot. Okay, so digital deception is a very common thing when we are interacting or when we are using the online platforms. So digital deception is nothing but when you see a content on Facebook, if you are shared a link or you see an advertisement online, so you are being promised something which is not actually there. It's a misrepresentation. For example, you read the headline on the YouTube video, the headline of the YouTube video or news article on the web, and you expected to find something in there when you visited. But when you actually visited it, it was about something else. It was, not important information which you actually wanted. So that is digital deception, the art of deception in the digital platform, deceiving someone. So that happens all the more since clickbait is there. They promise you something, they take you to their website, they make you visit their website, and then you do not get what you wanted. So that is digital deception, which has happened because of clickbait. In order to view likes, in order to get your views, they do this. Ma'am, go to the next slide.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is something which you all must be familiar with, the social media. Well, your Facebook, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, your Instagram are nothing but the social media platforms. Any internet-based website, which you're using to connect with your society, with your friends, your family, your colleagues, anyone. Any internet website which you're using for socialization, for social networking, that is social media platform. So you all must be very familiar with these social media platforms. You must be using them on a daily basis. And now these social networking sites have also become a very popular platform for marketing products and to advertise different other content platforms also, not only products but also services. Ma'am, can you go to the next slide? Thank you. So what are the challenges which we face today? What challenges lie ahead when we are moving towards a more digital world? Everything is now digital. The movies are digital, podcasts we have, everything is digital today. So what are the challenge or what are the problems which we might encounter? The first thing is privacy. There are a lot of privacy issues on the social media platforms, on the new media platforms. Whenever we are connected to the internet actually stores a lot of data. Every move which we make on the internet is actually being captured, is stored over there. So there is no privacy at all. Also, when you are there, you might face certain instances of cyberbullying or harassment on the internet. So these are some problems which we might encounter because the person who is present on the internet, whom we have not met in the physical world, we do not actually know who that person is. So he might create problems for us. We do not know who actually that person is. So we cannot trust them. We cannot trust people on the internet. So definitely we are going to face privacy issues in the future. And this is definitely something which we have to think about. We need to make these social media and online platforms very much safe for the younger generation. And particularly that is why also we are having this media literacy program to inform you about how and what things you might face on the internet when you're using the digital media, how you can be safe over there. So do not get swayed away by these people who are actually showing you something, but they actually are something else. You have to be very safe on the internet. okay, privacy is a big matter on the internet. Then another problem which lies with, which has, I mean, I should say this thing has increased because of the internet. The fake news phenomenon, the disinformation and the misinformation, all these have increased because of the rising digital media. Okay, now fake news is news which is actually not true, but is being circulated very easily with the help of these social media and new media platforms, because therein there are no gatekeepers like in the other conventional mediums which I was talking about. In television, in newspapers and radio, there are actually journalists who have been trained for their role. So they gatekeep the information, and then that information, after filtering the information, after checking the authenticity of the information, that is brought to you. But on the internet, we do not know who is creating this information, whether the source is authentic or not. Whatever information we are getting is real or not. Okay? So that is the problem which lies with the internet. We have no way of cross-checking whether the source is true or not. So that is why fake news is rising, because people do not have a idea about how new media operates, how social media operates. So maybe they do not know about clickbait. They fall prey to this, and they a simple WhatsApp message which you got from a friend and you're forwarding it, that might lead to a very disastrous situation later on, and we do not also know about it. So fake news is something which we should really be aware of before forwarding or before sharing content. We must ourselves we should ourselves take the responsibility of thinking once whether this news will be good for the society or not, whether I should share it or not. A simple thought like this would be able to make a lot of difference. If everyone participates in it, if everyone takes account for what they are sharing, of what social media profile they are building up, then definitely this problem can be handled very easily. Now, disinformation and misinformation again. Disinformation happens when you are actually sending an information which is not true, and you are doing it intentionally, and disinformation when you're not doing it intentionally, but you are actually distributing the information which is wrong to the society, which you should not have done. So these are some of the things which you need to be careful when you are interacting with the new media. When you are sharing content on because the new media, the problem is that you're not only the content receiver, you are also the content creator. So that is the kind of power which gives it to us. So we are not only receiving information, like what happens on television, you do not say anything. You hear the radio also, you read the newspaper, but you're not making any contribution. But on internet, you yourself have the power of creating content. Not only you receive, you give also. You create content for yourself. Whenever you write a blog or you post a video, so you need to be very careful of what lies, in the social media, what lies in the new media, how it operates, how it functions. All these things you need to know. So these are some of the problems which you might experience while handling the social media or the new media, which I thought you should be knowing about. Okay, now tell me I hope you all enjoyed whatever we discussed. Anything which you would like to ask me or discuss with me? Any questions or anything you want to say with this audience? Ashana, you can stop the screen share.
Yeah, there is something in the chat, I believe. Can you see this question, Swati, which is in the chat box? This is by, should I read it out? This is by Shelly Sen, and the question is how the new media, that is internet, is improving in the advertisement field.
Okay, when we are using the new media, as I said before, also we can take our content to the larger audiences. Okay, whatever we are posting, we have the access to distribute the content to a larger audience, possibly to the entire world. So now when we are posting advertisements, like if you're posting a YouTube in there and there's an advertisement coming up, so that also has higher chances of reaching the larger audiences. So that is the power of internet. You can also advertise your products and services, and you can reach more people also. Shelly, is that what you were asking? Like, is there any else you want to say? I think, yeah, I've explained myself.
I think there are no more questions. So I think we should wind up the session. If you want Swati to make any concluding remark in 2-3 sentences, you can do that. And afterwards, I will request Dr. Asha Singh to please come and conclude the session. Yeah, Swati.
So actually, I'm not having access. Like the chat box is not opening. The questions are not showing to me.
Yeah, I think I mean students are still trying to sink in whatever has been happening from the last session. I think it will take 1 or 2 more sessions for them to adjust with whatever we are trying to tell them, because this is something which is beyond their curriculum and all. But then, I mean, all the students who are there, I will again ask them, because whatever we are trying to tell, it's very basic. And it is something that everybody is exposed to in today's time. Everybody is exposed to media, and we all use it. Even you will be using internet and social media and all. So I think things will be understandable. But then in this whole communication process, it is very necessary that some interactivity has to be there. And we will always be happy if you will be asking some questions. So again, I will request you all to come prepared with your questions. Even you can do this, that whatever happened in today's session, if you're not immediately able to frame your questions and all, you take time, go through everything, frame your questions, and in the next session also, you can put up your questions, so that at least this two-way communication is established, which we are striving to establish. I requested Dr. Asha Singh to please say the final words before this session is winding up.
Thank you, Professor Saxena. It was a very comprehensive presentation, Swati. Thank you for your presentation. I'm sure students must be trying to absorb the content, and hence they are right now not reflecting. But I am sure within 2-3 days, they will come up with more queries. And I believe students that someday this material which you are going through and the issues which is being discussed in front of you, it will enter your life in more conceptual manner, because I believe sooner or later media and communication will also become part of school curriculum. So I know that till now media is not part of school curriculum in many schools, but sooner or later it will become part of school curriculum. And later on, when you do your graduation, your masters, these issues, these concepts will become more clearer and more relevant to you, and you will be re-looking at these concepts again. So let us consider this as a preliminary exposure to media, but sooner or later there will be more deeper engagement. I know you are already engaging with media products, media devices, but media as a concept and media as a framework to think through will be entering your life very soon. So that would be my concluding remark. Yeah, thank you.
So with this, we move towards the end of this session. Thank you all for joining in this session and be with us throughout. Thank you all.